Success is a work in progress. It's not about achieving a goal. It's about constantly improving and pushing boundaries. Jen-Hsun Huang. There is a fundamental truth, often overlooked in the pursuit of immediate success. True greatness is born not of genius, but of character. And character, as Jen-Hsun Huang, the founder of NVIDIA, argues, is not formed from smart people, but from those who have suffered. This is not a praise of masochism, but a deep understanding that resilience, the ability to endure and ultimately create things of lasting value, is forged in the fire of adversity. This philosophy, the backbone of NVIDIA, rejects the illusion of an easy path, instead pointing to the transformative power of pain and failure as necessary components of growth. At the core of this philosophy also lies the power of first principles thinking. Instead of copying existing solutions or operating by analogy, Huang asks, given today's conditions, my motivation, the tools available, how would I do it anew? How would I reinvent it all? This approach forces a deep understanding of the problem and the creation of solutions that are genuinely innovative, not merely iterative. It was this first principles thinking that allowed NVIDIA to bet on $0 billion markets whose existence others did not even suspect, but which, as the future showed, would come to define a new era of technology. How do you build when the odds seem slim? Paradoxically, through low expectations. Huang admits, one of my great advantages is that I have very low expectations. This is not pessimism, but strategic humility. People with very high expectations have very low resilience, and unfortunately, resilience matters in achieving success. Low expectations protect against the paralyzing fear of failure, allowing setbacks to be treated as data, as lessons, rather than as a final verdict. It is this resilience, forged in early difficult experiences and in the fire of the company's near bankruptcy, that became Huang's and NVIDIA's superpower. Inextricably linked to this is intellectual honesty, the courage to face the truth, admit a mistake, and quickly correct course. Huang emphasizes that without intellectual honesty, you can't have a culture that is willing to tolerate failure because people cling too tightly to an idea that is likely wrong or not working. It was this principle that saved NVIDIA when the company had to admit a strategic error in its chip architecture for Sega. Instead of heading down a blind alley, Huang opted for transparency, which not only saved the company, but also cemented intellectual honesty as a fundamental value of NVIDIA. The ability to be self-critical and learn from mistakes is crucial in a dynamically changing world. Vision without action is merely a hallucination. NVIDIA's philosophy proclaims that strategy is not words. Strategy is action. It is the daily embodiment of principles, forging beliefs into concrete results. Huang rejects rigid hierarchies and traditional planning cycles in favor of the concept of the mission is the boss. The priorities become customer needs and technological breakthroughs, which fosters organizational fluidity and agility. Also key here is saying no, strategically withdrawing from less critical initiatives to concentrate resources on the highest impact goals. NVIDIA's decision to exit the mobile phone market to focus on the yet undefined AI market was precisely such a strategic no that opened the door to the future. This requires the discipline and courage to resist the temptation to chase every trend. This discipline of action must be combined with a long-term vision and patience. The story of the Kyoto gardener, who for 25 years tended his garden with extraordinary care, saying, "I have plenty of time," became for Huang a metaphor for dedicating oneself to one's craft and life's work. The development of CUDA, the platform that revolutionized computing and became the foundation of AI, took a decade and was initially unprofitable. This is proof of NVIDIA's readiness to invest in a future that others did not see, patiently cultivating the gardens of future technologies. True leadership, in Huang's philosophy, is not about making all the decisions, but about creating the conditions in which others can succeed. It's about providing context, transparently sharing information and reasoning, so that everyone in the organization can make informed decisions. Huang manages many direct reports not through individual meetings, but through group discussions, which ensures the free flow of information and eliminates silos. The organization is designed to best fulfill its mission, not according to a universal template. If we're all building different things, why should we be organized the same way? Huang asks. This is another application of first principles thinking in building a company. Trust is key, including in young talent, who are often entrusted with leading important initiatives. A fundamental element of this philosophy is continuous learning. In a world that is constantly changing, the ability to adapt, ask questions, and be a good student is invaluable. A leader must be willing to admit they do not know everything and create a space for uncertainty, which is also a space for learning. Vulnerability is not a lack of strength, and uncertainty is not a lack of confidence, Huang emphasizes. The ultimate message flowing from the philosophy of Jen-Hsun Huang and NVIDIA is a call to find one's craft, something to which we want to dedicate our lives, honing skills and creating value. It doesn't have to be something grand from the start, but something that resonates with our deepest convictions. This path will not be easy. It will require embracing pain and suffering as teachers of character and resilience. It will require thinking from first principles, intellectual honesty, strategic patience, and relentless action. It will require building based on a mission that is greater than ourselves and creating conditions where others can also grow. NVIDIA's legacy is not just its revolutionary technologies. It is proof that a company built on such solid, though demanding principles, can not only survive, but also shape the future. It is an invitation for us, in our own pursuits, to dare to enter the forge, embrace its heat, and craft something lasting, something meaningful, for ourselves and for the world.